welcome for another edition of In the Spirit of Things, folks, and glad to have you here. It's been a very interesting week, been a very busy week for those, my Canadian brothers and some of my other brothers and sisters who joined up in full membership over at privatist.me. Welcome aboard, because you're in for a whole new paradigm shift, and I thank you all for coming in. And anyways, folks, Saturday we're going to be going a little bit more further into banking and third-party debt stuff as well. I'm going to cover a little more of that tonight. If you didn't go over to privatist.me, which we have icons everywhere now, whether you come in the spirit of things direct, if you come in through the front door there, folks, right below in the spirit of things, you'll see http privatist.me. I'd like everybody to get their books and pencils for the next class. Anyways, we have I posted over there as well for people who are interested in seeing how you get your money back from a third-party debt collector when you know how to move forward. I have posted documents as proofs, so for all the people who say, well, you know, we don't believe anything, and I don't expect you to. That's why I'm the proofs guy. If I can't show you in black and white, like I've been saying all along, you know, I don't want you to believe me. It becomes hearsay. So, anyways, yeah, go over to privatist.me. You need to sign up anyways, folks, if you're following the curriculum on each Saturday. So you can come, basically it has an a icon, or it's not called an icon, but it says http://privatist.me. You can just copy and paste and put it up into your search bar, and it'll take you straight over to the site so you can sign up for free and come on in and see all the sights and sounds that we have over there, because we have excellent information on the cover page. It'll give you a little overview, follow the bouncing ball, watch changes on the horizon, some other things. Folks got some really, really good stuff happening as well. We're covering some major ground for our Canadian brothers, our Australian brothers, because, folks, we want to put the third-party debt beast to bed, because they really have no valid contract with you, nor do they have any valid debt. They bought it for chump change after they, first party, i.e. the originator, already got paid in full on the insurance contract. Anyways, we won't get into that right this minute. But for those who came into the Freedom Reigns door, folks, if you just look at our homepage, and if you go down to, let's say, fourth from the bottom, it says privatist.me. So instead of you having to type it in, you just click on that icon, and it'll take you over to a cover page with another blue icon, and you can click on that one, which says privatist.me, and it'll take you right into the front door. I know a lot of people have had a hard time getting in the front door, so I'm just trying to make it easier by posting, you know, anywhere where it's for ease of access. Because, folks, if you haven't seen the curriculum yet, which is free, and you haven't followed, you know, the birth certificate bond, securitization scam, the birth certificate securitization scam, this is where it all started. And we're posting each week in the curriculum over there on that page. It's right on the cover page once you get in, and it says 8-week curriculum. And it also got my attaching proofs of how to deal with a third-party debt collector, not so much how, but proofs that when you know how to move forward in a different capacity, you can actually get them out of your pocket and actually get them to play nice and give you your money back. Not all the time, but on this, for instance, I was able to get some gravitational pull, for lack of a better term. But anyways, we'll get back into that later, top of the hour. Right now I've got Brother John, who's come back into the fray. And if any of you are familiar with some of the past shows we've been covering with Brother John, he's up in Canada, and the folks up there decided to, you know, take a right on his children and pull him out of his house, and it's been sort of a long path, and it's not been good, but it has been moving forward, have been turning things around, getting proofs. Folks, it's just not really been a very nice situation. And then, you know, folks, this is the auspices of a police state, somebody thinking they died and somebody made them God. The dictates of the master, and this is where we stand. We're in a different capacity. They think somebody died and left them king. I don't think anybody died and left them king as far as I'm concerned. So, folks, that's why we do, in the spirit of things in these talks, is to affect a paradigm shift on all of us, because you're next. If we don't all stand united, then divided we will fall. And, folks, that's how they operate. That's what they expect. We've been laying dead asleep for a long time, so it's time for a wake-up call, and I'm seeing a beautiful paradigm shift coming about. And, folks, that's why we put together Privatist.me. I know I'm sounding like I'm banging the drum on Privatist.me, but, folks, we have extremely effective educational nucleus that pulls the curtain back for you, so you don't have to go looking all over the world to go find stuff. You effectively come through that front door, and we talk about things of substance on every level, from big pharma, big energy, education, the system, the courts, the bonds, the chicanery going on behind closed doors, the control mechanisms, shots, you name it. We pretty much cover just about every taboo subject the mainstream media will never touch with a 10-foot pole. Anyways, with that being said, I'm welcoming Brother John back to the fray tonight. And
hey,
Brother
how you
John,
doing, Pete?
How are you doing, sir? It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. We've got a lot of exciting news and a lot of stuff to share and update all the listeners and let them know how we're staying in peace and honor.
Well, let's give a short overview for those who are new to the call or haven't been here before, don't know what's going on. Just give a brief synopsis, 5-10 minutes or whatever. Give the overview of how it all came about, and this way we can move forward on that level. And you can take your time, brother.
Okay. Well, as you know, CPS came to our house November 28th and stole and kidnapped our children under false, trumped-up accusations, and we have been now fighting, not fighting, I should say, at peace and honor, but trying to get our heirs back. We've had a few hearings now with judges and stuff like that, and we're learning quite a bit, I guess you could say. It's quite the learning curve. Now, if the listeners have been keeping track and stuff like that, we've already had 2 hearings with judges, and each one seems to be going better and better. Now, I'd like to get you caught up with what's new and what's going on with our last hearing, and get you up to date on that.
Yeah.
Now, we had a hearing for the unsafe storage of the weapon and the couple grams of pot for a hearing at the courthouse. Now, we basically went in, expecting what we were going to get. So we went to the criminal court to settle the account in private. Before we went to court, we did this with the Crown prosecutors, sent in notice of settlement and all this kind of stuff, and basically were ignored. We sent another one in and gave her 10 days to settle the account, to bring forth proper claim, to bring forth bid bond, payment bond, performance bond, and QSIP number. Of course, we were ignored again. So we ended up going to court for basically to put in a plea of guilty or not guilty. So we asked the judge first off when we got into the courtroom. We were left quite to last, as you could be expected, because we had noticed the judge as well of our diplomatic status prior to going to his courtroom. So they were quite aware of who we were when we were getting there. Now, at first, they went through, all the other people in the room, and quite quickly, almost like In-N-Out Walmart, stand up, guilty, not guilty, give them the fine, out they go, guilty, not guilty, and, next and next and next and next. Well, we had at least, I'd say, 10, 15, even though on the list we were second or third to be heard. So when it was our turn, the judge was sitting there, and he basically asked us, are you Jonathan Joseph Little? And my fiancée was beside me. Seems like they're doing everything together with us, side by side, which is kind of convenient for us. So we first asked the judge, before he said anything, if he could hear us. And he responded, yes, he could hear us. So I stated for a fact that we are alive and that the court could hear us. So we proceeded to tell the judge that we were here in peace and honor as the living beneficiaries of the estate being administered, and that it was our wish that the judge, as trustee, that we assign him, to settle this account to full closure. We also told the judge that we tried to settle the account with the prosecutor after sending many notices by registered mail, giving her 10 days to bring forth valid claim and to settle the account in full closure. But she ignored both copies, basically. We even tried to talk to her in the morning of the court appearance to settle the account to full closure. And, of course, she avoided us and refused and basically, stands in fraud and honor. Now, the judge, he kind of looked at us, and he just, started going about his business, and he tried to enter a plea for us. and multiple times re-interrupted him and told him we did not consent to a plea. We told him that each time we were here to settle the account in peace and honor as living beneficiaries of the estate and to settle the account to full closure. That we have the legal fiction present in our hands, known as Jonathan Joseph William Estate. We had our birth certificates in our hand. Well, this kind of made them get quite flustered. They didn't like this. We also had our notice of status papers from DP, and we asked, the bailiff to hand these to the judge for viewing. Well, no one moved. The bailiffs didn't move. No one moved, and the judge got heated more and more. Everyone stood there stunned, and no one would, like I say, take our documents.
They never had this. It sounds like they never had this happen before.
Exactly, right? So the judge started getting very hot under the collar and yelled at us that we would be settling the account from jail if we didn't calm down. Well, we were quite calm, just quite firm as well. And we weren't going to let him railroad us, being the living beneficiaries. I told the judge that it was fine if he wanted to breach the trust, and if he chose to do so, we would have remedy for those who like to breach the trust. We again told the judge that he was trustee of the estate and that it was our wish and pleasure as living beneficiaries for him to settle the account to foreclosure, set off the public debt, pay all tithes and taxes, and return the estate to honor, set us and our private property free. Well, the judge then yelled out to his sheriffs that we were being charged for 30 days of contempt of court. Right then and there, 30 days contempt of court, okay? And the sheriffs flocked to us, basically. We told them to stand down, that they were dishonoring a court official, and we also said, touch us and you will be charged. I am here in peace and honor. Basically, we were dragged off into jail. Reporters were taking photographs. I told the sheriffs that hijacking and commandeering my vessel was an act of war, punishable by high treason. We told them that they were committing war crimes against a peaceful nation, and that we were universal postmaster diplomats, and that they would be charged. Now, we were placed in separate cells. They took both of us, even though I was the one talking at the time, locked us up, and then, within 2 or 3 minutes, the duty counsel runs down to the jail cell, and he's basically asking if we're willing to accept duty counsel. Well, we stated very clearly that we were not decedents of the court, and that we were there in peace and honor, and that you had dishonored universal postmaster diplomats. And the duty counsel basically went to my fiance's cell as well and got the same response. Now, a few minutes later, a sheriff entered my fiance's cell and basically said, yeah, we're taking you to jail right this moment. And he didn't want to hear any more of this nonsense talk, and that if we were willing to be quiet and go upstairs and get our full disclosure, that we would be free to leave. Otherwise, we were going to jail at that moment. So basically, we told him that, if we were getting full disclosure, that we would have to have full disclosure, including the bid bond, performance bond, and all that. So we quickly walked away. They came down about 10, 15 minutes later and escorted us back up to the courtroom, which was now pretty much empty. So basically, we were told there we were basically dragged across the bar into the prisoner's bench against our will through coercion, and basically once we were sat there, we basically started on the prosecutor before the judge entered the room. Now, the prosecutor and duty counsel are in the room, and we basically asked the prosecutor to give us the bid bond, performance bond, and payment bond and QSIP number to settle the account in full, and the prosecutor wouldn't respond to us whatsoever. Instead, a duty counsel responded on her behalf and said, oh, you won't be getting those. So we looked at both of them basically and said, well, I guess we'll need the underwriter of your hazard bonds through your risk management department then. So basically, at that point, both of them, their eyes just, bugged out of their head. The heads went down, and the prosecutor wouldn't look at us, and even the duty counsel that we, did not assign to us or anything else, wouldn't look at us. So finally, the judge enters the courtroom and stated that he was withdrawing his contempt charge and excusing him from the case as due to conflict of interest all of a sudden. And he was not able or capable to give us a fair trial. So he went ahead and set a date for May the 8th, 2013, and quickly exited the courtroom. The sheriffs removed their cuffs, and we approached the prosecutor to receive our full disclosure, which she was holding over her shoulder at us because we were behind us. She wouldn't turn around to look at us or anything. She was keeping her back and avoiding eye contact. And at this point, we just kept asking her, was she giving us, indeed, full disclosure with the bid bond, performance bond, and QSIM number, along with the underwriter of her hazard bond and her risk management department? But she kept ignoring us and holding the documents over her shoulder, not saying a word, almost trembling.
Yeah, she was scared crapless, dude.
Exactly,
you were.
right?
That's called hitting the monkey in the mouth, and because they can't bring it forward, they won't bring it forward. See, but that's breach of trust right there, because you're asking, because it has everything to do with probating the estate, and
yes. Exactly. So we persisted, and the sheriffs are still trying to escort us out, and we still persisted in asking if she was actually giving us full disclosure. Well, she finally responded, as far as she knew, without looking at us again, holding these papers, that it was full disclosure. So we took the documents, and they were definitely, not full disclosure, and we left. It was printed in the next day's newspaper that we'd gone to jail for 30 days of contempt. And here we are talking to you.
The lamestream media always gets it wrong, and then they always
don't you
slant
love
it in
that?
the negative. Yep.
So that's how that went, and we immediately went home and filed charges, a notice of breach of trust right through DP, and filed that day. So that's how the criminal trial went, basically, and we'll be staying on them, and we'll be noticing them and keeping the heat on them quite a bit, and we're going in and we're going to be asking for their oath of office and, all this kind of stuff through the courts here very soon. So, they'll definitely be feeling the fire. Now, we also had ourselves another hearing, our third hearing now for the children, and that kind of went really weird. That's a very interesting story. This judge definitely knew what was going on and definitely was very uncomfortable. So basically, you want me to tell you a little bit about that?
Sure do. We got about 9 minutes, so let her rip.
Okay. Well, basically, we arrived at this third hearing. The sheriffs were there. They're quite used to us at the courthouse. And they were basically asking if we were looking forward to the same thing as last time. Basically where we were escorted out for not being the person that they were looking for. We weren't quite as prepared.
Yeah, because you were
stuck
into the fiction status. Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay. We got to force you into that voluntary compliance through mandated compliance.
Exactly.
At the end of a gun and forced compliance is not a valid contract.
Well, I quite quickly told him, well, yes, it would be the same as last time, except this time we have brought forth our bonds. And at this point, he quickly walked away.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
very good.
They kind of treat us like criminals there. We get there, and they won't let us into the courtroom until we have a thorough pat down. They check in all our clothes and all this kind of stuff, make sure that we don't have any weapons with us. And we're basically, my fiance walks in at first, right up to the front of the courthouse, right before the bar, basically, on her side, and she's the only one on her side, and then basically there's 10 or 20 on the other side with CPS and all this kind of stuff, and their crown and all that. And, you could just see the intimidation in them, and, just the beat down kind of people, the shrugged shoulders, and we're up there proud as can be, smiling and going on, and waiting for the judge to come in. So basically, we're standing there and we're talking about before the judge comes in, and we just stand. We don't sit, we don't stand, we don't do anything. We stand the whole time we're in the courtroom. Now the sheriff announces for everyone to stand as the judge enters, and then tells everyone to be seated. Well, of course, we remain standing. We soon noticed that we were assigned a different judge this time. So it appears as though we've managed to have 2 judges removed from our cases due to conflict of interest. and
what would the
providing a fair trial.
What was the conflict of interest that they might think you're going after their bond?
Yes, exactly, right?
Who knows,
So
things that make you go,
Things that make you, you're going to love this. This gets even more, Basically, the judge asked me if I was Jonathan Little, to which I responded that I was commonly known as John, and I was there in peace and honor as a living beneficiary of the estate administered here. But I did bring Jonathan Joseph William Little in my hands to settle the account in full, if the bailiff would like to take these to the bench for the judge's review. And again, nobody moved to take these birth certificates or anything else. the judge then said to me, "Sit down." And when he was about to reply, the judge yelled out again, "Sit down in my courtroom."
Right, because, dude, if you would have sat down, then you followed his order, you gave over jurisdiction.
Exactly. You know, he was trying the old, like, this is old
Here we go.
tricks to me. He's got himself a warrior in there, right? So, of course, I say to him, I'm sorry here, Your Honor, I cannot sit down. I am here in peace and honor to settle this account in full. The judge then says to me, well, come here for a minute so I can talk to you, wanting me to cross the bar.
No.
So I informed the judge. I said, I cannot cross the bar and perform the judge's duties as a trustee. I am the living beneficiary in peace and honor as a living beneficiary to settle the account, and I cannot administer the court's duty. Well, the judge paused at this point for almost what seemed like a whole minute, and he basically just stared at us.
Hey, let me interject just for a second. Hey, folks, this is how you do it. This is called paying attention to detail. And you get the cobwebs out of your stomach and you stand fast because, like I say, it's Tricks is for Kids hours with the clowns of the circus. They want you to answer up to the fiction name. John covered that very succinctly. He didn't answer up because that's the constructive trust. They're trying to tap into the estate. So I'm explaining to people what's going on in court, John, because most people don't understand what this Tricks is for Kids crap is. And if you have your glasses on crooked and he tells you to straighten your glasses out and you do it, you gave over jurisdiction and you followed an order. So that tells him you don't know who you are. So this is, folks, this information that's coming forward, this is how you stand fast in the breach without giving over, because it is literally a Tricks is for Kids hour, and this is what they do is they'll tell you to move forward, stand back, and you've been conditioned your whole life to be a good, compliant slave. See, and that's the whole problem with the whole system, because we quit thinking for ourselves and we let everybody tell us what to do. Well, as a man, the king doesn't follow orders. The king gives them. He asks questions. Anyways, well, Brother John, carry on. I love that.
Okay. So he basically sat there for a minute in silence, and, he couldn't figure this out. So he went on to my fiancée, and he asked if she was the mother of the two of the four children. And she stated that she was the guardian of the living heirs, and and he also asked, are you Jacinthe Arsenault? And to which she replied, I am commonly known as Jessie. But I have brought Jacinthe Louise Arsenault in my hands today to settle the account in full, and held up the birth certificate and stated, I come in peace as a living beneficiary of the state being administered here today, and I've come to settle the account. He again tried to confirm if she was their mother. And basically she said, I am the guardian of the living heirs that you have in custody right now. I have the children here in my hand. Well, then again, so we got another moment of silence.
Oh, beautiful.
And then, of course, he tried to do well, come here again. And she stated, I'm afraid I cannot do that, Your Honor. I have come here in peace and honor as a living beneficiary to settle the account, and I cannot cross the bar as I am not capable of performing the court's duties. So this went on, and basically he just stopped in his tracks again and didn't know what to do. So basically he sat there for a minute and he stared at us and he stared back, and everyone in the courtroom is completely dumbfounded at this point. They can't understand how these two people are sitting here making this judge stammer and go on, and they're not listening to this judge, and they're not getting thrown out of court. We're being very peaceful and very low voiced and everything else. So finally the judge says he's moving on to other respondents, but was determined to find a way to have us removed from the courtroom since he couldn't establish jurisdiction over us, and we made it into our courtroom. So the prosecutor brought I lost my train of thought here. Just let me think here.
All right, brother.
That's okay. So he went on to the Crown Prosecutor, and he asked the Crown Prosecutor. He was asking, are these people disturbing you for what you need to do here today? If they are, I can have them removed. Well, we've already put charges against the Crown Prosecutor too. So he was quite quickly to say, no, they're not bothering me at all, Your Honor.
Oh, isn't that special? Hey, folks, this is beautiful stuff. Hey, John, we're going to go to a break. Hang loose.
Okay.
Get you a Coke break or whatever. Folks, we're going to come back in a couple minutes, and we're going to get the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. folks, this is really, really beautiful stuff, and this is how you play ball. Because, like I say, they just want you to traverse. That's why they say, hey, we're going to give you if they tell you they're going to do a plea for you, no. Because if you take a plea, folks, you're done. That's called traversing, and that's how they do the bait and switch, draft you for performance, get your bonds. And see, right now they're having some real heavy lifting to do, and they're not real excited about it. Well, they are excited, but incredible things happen in our lives. That, folks, that wakes us up and makes us have some sort of paradigm shift, gets our minds right, our hearts right, because, folks, no man should be doing involuntary servitude. No man should be bowing down to another. No man should dictate to another. They forgot who they were, these folks, and they run on hubris, and the whole system runs on hubris. I mean, these people, like I say, think somebody died and make them king. But, however, if my brothers and sisters keep tolerating it, keep laying down for it, you just become a good compliant slave on the slave plantation, and they're going to do a lot more worse things because, folks, that's the problem. We've all laid down and gone to sleep. Well, this is where we get to wake up. This is where we get to talk about truth. This is where we get to talk about substance, to pull the curtain back so we can really see what's going on behind closed doors. Because, folks, this whole system is so compartmentalized on so many different levels. And I've been, basically pursuing this for a good part of my life, because, like I say, inquiring minds want to know. I want to know who died made them king. So I do ask lots of questions, and I'm not afraid of no ghosts, because, folks, when you know who you are, you stand in the breach. Yeah, they can put out dictates. They can come beat my butt. They can come put a bullet through my head. But if that's the only thing they got, well, hey, you know what? They got nothing. All they got is control mechanisms and dictates. And you know what? I'm sorry, I just don't subscribe to that false paradigm. That's theirs because, in order to force compliance at the end of a gun, and I've been on that, folks. I've been on that receiving end in lovely Louisiana. Hey, shout out to my brothers in Louisiana. And, they like to pull guns on you to force you to sign a document. Folks, that's paramount to psychological rape. It would be no different than me taking the gun, taking it over to this cop's house, and put it in his wife's head and said, hey, we're going to have some commerce. That's not a voluntary act anymore. So your free will act indeed has been superseded, folks, on so many different levels because there's so many different layers to this rotten onion. And I'm pretty much getting down to the middle of it. And so, this is the stuff we share. But if you're not looking, you're not paying attention because I'll tell you what, this is not the same world I grew up in the 60s. It's a different day, folks. It's different dictates. The humanity has lost its way, and they like that the meism is here, the narcissism, the falsity, keeping you busy in the smoke and mirrors, the breads and circuses to keep the mind binded up to not think outside the box or think of anything of substance. Well, folks, it's getting real ugly out there, and if just what happened to Brother John can happen to you too, So, folks, when do you say when? When do you friggin' stand? You know what I'm saying? Hey, we ain't going and we ain't warring with nobody. But you know what? Just because somebody you think you have authority, you think you have some sort of dictatorial control. Well, you know what? Like I say, when you know who you are, then you stand in the breach and you say, hey, this is this is where I stand. And so, this control mechanism, folks, if we don't shake the cobwebs out of our brain, it's going to continue, and it's going to get progressively worse. And we're going to cover on the other side of the hour after 8 o'clock. We're going to go into, I'm going to share with you some crap that's going down that's going to blow your ever-loving mind. And I could have never thought it possible in my America, but my America is probably spelled Amerika. It's more like a communist, tyrannical gulag than it is a free state. It's a control state. That's all it is. So we got to keep the sheep in the corral and keep them passive, keep them fluoridated, keep them aspartame, keep them medicated, keep them stupid, dumb them down. And, folks, they've done a pretty effective job, and the propaganda machine does an excellent job. So what you see on your idiot box, well, first of all, I don't watch that anymore. I do for every now and then. I got to see what lies they're telling me today. Because, folks, that's what it is. It's propaganda. Matter of fact, John is proof of that when they said he was incarcerated for 30 days for contempt of court, and he wasn't at all. So, anyways, Brother John, I like where you're going with this, and, share a little bit more on now that they've done switching of the guard multiple times on you, because the judges, folks, when they start recusing themselves, and this happened to Brother Lentz here in USA Inc., he went through 8 years of judges recusing themselves because they took his child out from underneath him. So, folks, it's going on all the time. But you know what? The reason they're doing it, and on top of that, it's for control mechanisms and a hypothecation event. It's all about the stinking money. And that's why John keeps asking for the bonds. He wants to settle the account. He's going in love and harmony, folks. He wants to settle the account, go to full closure, and settle the account. And that's why he asked for the DA's stinking bond, because she ain't got no skin in the game. She's flying without a net in her full unlimited commercial liability, and you're not supposed to know that. That's why we ask for certain things. That's Brother John has been a very, very astute learner, and you know what? The masses are becoming astute learners on multiple levels, and they hate us talking about the bonds. Well, folks, that's all it's about. It's just the freaking money. You are just a hypothecation event, every little issue. And then, I covered this on the front end. If folks, I got a beautiful bond overview over on privatist.me. You probably want to listen to it. It's a 2-hour overview, but it'll blow your mind. It'll give you clarity. But this is what I do. I'm an educator, folks. This is where I live. I've uncovered this stuff, not to scare you, but to pull back the curtain to give you a friggin' reality check, because nobody's talking about this. Anyways, Brother John, before I go on a rampage, let me integrate you back into the call and okay. Carry on, brother. You're doing excellent.
Well, let me rewind a little bit. I'll rewind back to the part where the judge was basically sitting in his chair in silence after we basically had stated again that we wanted to set up the public debt, pay all tithes and taxes, and return the state of honor, and return our living heirs and set them free post haste. He basically sat there, and it was quite awkward. I've never seen anything like it, actually. He literally sat there for between a minute and a minute and a half. This is how long in these pauses, and this happened at least 4 or 5 times during our stay there, basically. And he would just sit there and stare. And you know why, Brother John?
You know why? Because he's never had to deal with somebody who actually knew who the hell they were and was standing fast in his proper capacity. That's never happened probably in his 30 years on the bench, however long he's been on the bench.
Exactly.
We're just used to good compliant slaves laying down and just giving over.
That's exactly, and that's what they were hoping that was going to do, right? But see, Jesse and I, we're the type of people that, when adversity comes before us, we're not the ones to run from it. We're the ones who welcome it, and let's go for the challenge. So they picked the wrong people, definitely. So We had everyone basically sitting behind the prosecutor, and they're basically dumbfounded as they can't comprehend how we were able to defy the judge's orders with no consequences. Finally, the judge says he's going to move on to the other respondents in the case, but he was quite determined, like I say, to have us removed from the courtroom. But since he couldn't establish jurisdiction over us, we basically made it our courtroom. So when the prosecutor brought my ex to the stand to be questioned to ascertain her eligibility for state-funded counsel, the judge interrupted the prosecutor to ask if he found it distracting to have us standing there as he pursues his line of questioning on my ex. And if he did find it distracting, he would have us removed. Well, like I said before, we had already put full charges on the prosecutor. I'm surprised he's actually still there through DP, and we've noticed him through registered mail as well as email and fax. So he's already received these charges, and he basically immediately responded to the judge, "Oh, no, Your Honor, they're not distracting me at all." And so he continued basically with the questioning of my ex, and she was asking for state funding counsel to help her petition for custody for 2 of the 4 kids. And basically I made it quite known basically how she was lying on stand. As she lied, I interrupted her as he was asking her questions, and every lie that she made, I rebutted. And some of the lies were the only way that she could get state funding was to say that she'd been an integral part of the kid's life, and that she'd been taking the kids every weekend and stuff like this. Well, this is the type of mother we had to beg to take the children, that she wouldn't see them within 2 or 3 months at a time, and when we did bring them in, we would have to provide her food, we would have to provide all the transportation, and sometimes we'd have to pick them up early, even for a weekend, because she couldn't handle it, And so as she, tried to say this kind of stuff, I piped right up, and with no consequence, I made the judge know that she was not active in the children's life, as she's just testified, that she was quite limited in her visits, and that she was not, intricate in their life. We never denied her, and we always allowed her to see the children as much as she wanted, but she wanted to have very little to do with them. I also let the judge know of my fiance's ex, who also has no involvement with his son for over 3 years, and actually hid from us, thinking that we were coming after him for child support, which we clearly stated that we are at peace and we did not care or ever come after him for child support. And he hid in vain. But here he is as a decedent of the court trying to gain custody under false affidavits. Well, so this went on, and like I say, no one said anything to me as I just, stood there and talked over everybody. The prosecutor went on to request a 3-day trial, which the judge responded that they would probably need a 5-day trial. He also stated that he was confident that a 3-day trial would be more than sufficient, but the judge insisted that setting a 5-day trial, telling him that if he finished early, that was fine. Both me and my fiancée both stated we did not consent to a trial and that we were there to settle the account in peace and honor, again, post-haste. I told the judge that if I have been asking and still demanding to see a valid claim brought forth, that I have brought my bond in honor and expect them to bring their bid bond, payment bond, performance bond, and QSIP number to settle the account, and if they did not want to provide this information, that they were in fraud, that you, Your Honor, are in fraud and dishonor, and that I want the underwriter of your hazard bonds through your risk management departments. Again, we got the 1 to 2 minute pause in silence as they stared at him.
The guy's fixing to have an aneurysm. His brain doesn't know how to. You see, bro, when they don't deal with this, they don't deal this with it once in a million years. They go into like a psychogenic shock in the brain. They can't believe that somebody actually knows what time it is, what's really going on behind closed doors.
Exactly.
This guy's the soothsayer. It's nothing but black magic in these ecclesiastical courts, folks. Well, I got some different ecclesiastical stuff I'm going to share with my brothers and sisters on the next hour. It's going to be fun. On how to use the same ecclesiastical 3-prong effect on them and put some babies to bed. Anyways,
exactly.
It's a beautiful thing, brother. So moving forward, does this one recuse himself yet, or he's still playing ball?
So it was a little bit more. Basically, like I say, he stayed there and he was silenced. And the whole point of this hearing was to set another trial. Basically. We basically piped up again, interrupting everyone. We told the judge that he was in possessing of our living beneficiaries and heir, and that we held the children in our hand, their birth certificates, and as a living beneficiary, it was, again, our wish for and on the record to settle the account in full closure, to set out the public debt, pay all the tithes, return the state to honor, and set my sons and daughters free post-haste. Well, the judge sat there in silence again. I interpreted his silence, or interrupted, I should say, his silence by letting him know we also have CPS on recording admitting that I lied on sworn affidavits and told CPS the whole time and stated that basically everything was blown out of proportion. We had that all on recording. And basically CPS behind the prosecutor, she stands up and she whispers something in the prosecutor's ear at this point. And basically the prosecutor stands up and he goes, I guess CPS is in the process of, what did they call it, hon? Expedited reunification. And at this point the judge sat back again. And he's like, well, I did not know this. I didn't know that you're working to get the kids reunited with these guys at an expedited rate. And he sat back and he sat back. And he's like, and you're still applying for a 6-month custody? And they said yes, and the judge, he sat back again and kind of not knowing what to do, basically he started like this, and he basically advised our exes that they strongly suggest that they obtain professional counsel, as they will likely not receive state-funded counsel, and representing yourself is not for the faint of heart when dealing with situations like this, he said. And he would really recommend that they get professional counsel instead of the state funding. And he basically said, we're going to see how you guys make out. I'm going to set a hearing for 3 more weeks, and walked out of the room. And before he could stand up and before everyone could say, all rise, Jesse and I left the room. Left them all standing there gaping with their mouths open. So
that's beautiful, brother. I love it. I love it.
So that's how that went.
Wow. Hey,
so again, we came home and we put charges on him as well for not honoring him. And like I say, we tried 3 or 4 times to give us the bonds and stuff like that. Throughout this, it was a quick summary of what happened. But yeah, 3 or 4 times we tried to give him the bond. 3 or 4 times we asked the bailiff to take the papers, and he sat there and didn't take them. But he took the decedent's papers. For her application for a federal funded counsel and all this kind of stuff, right?
So
the out breaches one after another.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just nuts, folks. This is some interesting stuff. I'm telling you, folks, I've seen the horror stories and seen many other things, folks. These clowns will indict a ham sandwich. Like I say, I'm going to cover on the next side of the hour just how nefarious this hypothecation game has become. I'm going to read you a little bit of story. I'm going to share with you some truths. Folks, this is why you have to understand how to remove presumptions and stand fast in the breach administratively as well as verbally so you can remove presumptions because they think we're all dead. They think we're all just a probatable event, a hypothecation event, and technically most people are because it's just one big cattle call in them courts. What Brother John has stood fast in the breach on has upended their game because he knows what the game is. See, when you and folks, you don't have to be obnoxious. You don't have to be adversarial. You just have to stand fast.
That's exactly what they want. They want you to get mad at them and stuff like that because then they can't get you out of their courtroom, right? They want you to, get angry and stuff, and then you're at war. And that was the whole thing. We stayed extremely calm, as pleasant as I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah, see, I would have had to take a Quaalude before I went because I'm the excitable boy. I'd be just saying, who here has the bond for the action being claimed? Who here is the responsible party? And I'd be looking over at the DA and brother, because I'd be pinning them down. I wouldn't be giving them 30 seconds to make a decision. I would just be busting some hump in a beautiful way because hey, it wouldn't be adversarial because the king always asks questions.
Exactly.
And I know I'm not going to get any answers. But I asked you 3 times, and then hey, okay, well, now we know that who's wearing what hat. Since this guy over here, he's the responsible party. He must be the executor. Let him pick up the tab, bust out his check, and pay the trustee over there. She's over at the gate. That's called your court clerk. And judge, you can administrate making sure that this account gets paid in full.
Exactly.
I'm here to settle the damn account.
Well, like I say, we're learning, and like I say, he said another hearing and not a trial. So that was the whole point. They were supposed to set a trial that day, and they went ahead and set another hearing. So this is basically another kangaroo court to come in and,
it's just it's the breads and circuses BS, folks. See, this is all they know how to do, and they'll kick the can down the road. And this is, like I say, they're trying to wear Brother Johnny and his girl out, and that's the objective, to wear you out, because they don't have any honor. Yeah,
it's just making us stronger. The more that we see the fear in their eyes, and the more that we see them squirm in their seats, and the more that we see their heads lower, not wanting to look us in the eye, it's just empowering us. You know what I mean? We know who we are now. We are 100% knowing who we are, and we can never go back to being a decedent, you know what I mean, and on the slave ship. So, yeah, they picked the wrong people, and they think we're going to quit. They are sadly mistaken, Pete.
Yup. Well, this is good, brother. You know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. You got to stand fast in the breach because, to crumble now and to give over under because it would be that's going to be an uglier. It's okay.
Oh, that would be suicide. Yeah, that would be
right.
Suicide.
Well, I'll bring up Sister Deatra, my producer. She knew she was literally between a rock and a rock. And when I gave over to her and said, you need to go settle the account, that's the only thing I can tell you what to do that I can think of off the top of my head. I said, I can't stick 25 years of information in your head, but you know what? This is what you can do. I said, do you know what a bid bond, performance bond, payment bond is? She goes, nope. I said, pull it up on your computer. She printed them off. I said, these are your playing cards, sweetheart. They're not, you don't fill these out. They're already filled out in the back for you. And then you want to take your birth certificate bond. You have one of those hanging around anywhere. She goes, yup. And I said, okay, grab that puppy, and do you know what a cuss-up number is? Nope. I said, pull that up so you can understand, so they know that you know what you're asking for. But where it went sideways was where she cut the wheat from the chaff. She was going to file criminal charges because the fraud had been perpetrated on the court because they're always flying without a net. They're trying to use your bond to hypothecate the case. It's the bait and switch, folks, everything. Because what they're doing, instead of putting your bond in a special deposit, which it should be, and the securities would come back to you, they put it in as a general deposit like you didn't want it, so they can put it in their freaking proverbial slush fund called the CAFR account. So, folks, you can't make this crap up. You can just follow, this is what gave me my paradigm shift, folks. I just followed the money trail. When you follow the money trail, you can find out tons of stuff, like how the whores in Texas pushed that Gardasil crap on our brothers and sisters' daughters for, Rick Perry or whatever in 2007. Folks, Gardasil has killed over 300 girls. One is one too many. So, and then the deleterious effects that it's causing, like Guillain-Barré syndrome, other stuff. This is the stuff I research. And then I look at Big Pharma, who's in bed in the state of Texas and giving over big sums of money to campaigns of clowns at the freaking circus who are supposed to be operating in honor, but they're nothing but corporate-paid whores for the corporate-paid system. This is one dead system, folks, and it's a bunch of deadheads at the top of the pecking order. You know what? Hey, we don't do nothing to them. They're going to be relegated to their positions eventually down the road because the sheep are waking up and they're becoming coyotes. And anyways, folks, this is what's going on. Welcome to the world of chicanery land. It's literally getting uglier by the day. They're putting out new dictates every time you turn around. We got, in states like Colorado, they tricking the people to go get a Walmart card to give over and register their garden so the garden police can come back there now and shut their garden down, saying, you're the leaves on here got this bug on it or that bug on it. That's not good. Folks, it's a control mechanism. Anytime you give over, it's just another control mechanism, just like the driver's license on the contract. It specifically says vessel in commerce. When I read that here on the land, Virginia, I was like in a state of shock. I said, I'm going to pass on filling this crap out anymore. I said, I'm not a vessel in commerce. But, folks, the documents tell you that when you sign over for bank accounts, if you read the damn thing, it says you give over to the bank and to the IRS to come in and wiggly-niggly steal your substance out of your bank account at whim because you gave over and you gave it over unencumbered. That's why I never sign anything with an unencumbered signature. When I say unencumbered, I mean when you just sign outright. I always put a little BY with a colon so we separate the dead from the living, and just little nuances like that I teach over at privatist.me. So, folks, I'm an educator. That's where I live. And, folks, if you haven't gone over got your curriculum and got the files and look at a birth certificate bond and looked at the birth certificate securitization scam, these are free downloadable PDFs available for everybody on this call. And this is where you get your mind right. This is where you get to see the truth straight up. So I'm taking everybody down the rabbit trail here for the next 8 weeks. So I'd like everybody to come on board. It's free. Hey, folks, you have icons you can click on for privatist.me on Freedom Reigns. And in the spirit of things, we have the icon. I really want everybody coming through the door to come in for their education because I got so much good stuff posted over there, and none of it's filler, none of it's garbage, none of it will keep you busy with the mundane and administrating this and administrating that, or as far as empty swill that has no validity. Anyways, Brother John, what's the next step in this for those who just came to the call? Yeah, Brother John's been sharing the love about how you stand in the breach and not give over. Folks, and this is where we all have to stand because otherwise we're not going to have nothing left if we keep giving over because I done quit giving over. Anyways, so where are we going now, John?
Well, the next thing I would say is to acquire their oaths of office. We want to keep the heat on these people, and we want them to know we know what's going on. And that's the game we're playing now, I guess. Yep. And as I say, we're also filing charges on all the wrongdoers through DP, and they are being taken care of through the organization as we speak. So yep. That's kind of where we're at right now. And as you know, we're always working with Mike, and we're getting our papers together, and we're going to be putting a few other things in play, and we'll keep you up to date as we do that as well. So we're still moving forward. We're waiting to hear on this next hearing that wasn't even set. They didn't even set a date. They just said it would be in 3 weeks and then ran out of the room. So
right, yeah, they probably won't give you a date, so you do a no-show. Then they can issue a FTA, a failure to appear, so they can pick you up. I mean, this is, folks, this is really how they do stuff. I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. They'll have court dates without you being there and saying you did a show. Well, I've seen them do that crap and then have it in another building without telling you it was going to be in another building. This is, folks, really the most nefarious tricks is for kids crap that you, and I've seen it. Like I say, you can't make this stuff up, but it happens every stinking day. It's just a hypothecation event, and these whores, and that's what they are, because they've lost their souls. They apparently, when they look in their mirrors, all I can see is they can't have a soul. They must be looking into a void, because there's obviously nothing looking back, because any man that could do this to other men, women, and children under the guise of protectionism is really the lowest common denominator in the earth. They're, I don't know, call them reptilian, I don't care, call them insect, call them whatever, parasite, because they really are. They're folks, they're like bloodsuckers, like a tick. And that's why, you ever look at the word politics, meaning many, and bloodsuckers. Folks, that's what your political system is. You've given over to a corporation, a control mechanism to put down dictates to tell its sheep what they got to do next. Well, that's why I tell people to divest themselves from the body politic. And over at Private.me, we create a beautiful document, red box, by the way, a beautiful non-negotiable red box document to basically forward off to your SOS in your local municipality to basically divest yourself of the body politic. Because, folks, there is no voting. The voting is a scam. The whole system is a scam. This left-right paradigm they keep the sheep busy at, you're just voting for one slug or another. It's all part of the corporate friggin' corporatocracy to control you, to create new rules and regulations and games and statutes and 5,000 other codes. We're going to have banana eating on Tuesdays and Thursdays now in your car. I mean, they create more crap. Matter of fact, they got a rule over there in Colorado called motoring, folks. You can't even make this stuff up. I was over there in 2005, and it's called motoring. It's where you go out and you start your car up in your driveway. It's cold as hell over in Colorado, so the people like to warm up their car and go back in and get a cup of coffee while the car's warming up. Well, they call that motoring, and it's a $300 ticket for motoring, folks, by keeping your car warming up in your driveway. Who'd have thought they would invent crap like this? This is the stuff we're talking about. And collecting rainwater off your roofs. God didn't give you permission to collect no rainwater off your roof so you could put it in your freaking garden. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. It's happening all over the country. When are we going to wake up and tell them, go to hell, have a nice day, you're not my king, I'm my own king, I'm independent, and folks, this is what, if you don't like the dictates now, hang out for a little while longer and let them keep getting away with this crap and have no accountability.
And that's exactly what's happening, Pete. You know what I mean? Every day you see these new laws and stuff like that, and now they're going to start filling up the jails, or they already are still filling up the jails with people that owe debt. You know what I mean? For this fiat money system, they're putting people in jail. Well, what's the number one business in America right now? It's jails. They're making millions and millions and building jails left and right. And for all these laws, it's like
I've been covering that. I've been covering that. The NDAA Act was nothing but a scam to perpetrate the hypothecation event for more masses to get thrown in the jug a lot quicker. Because, folks, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Listen up. If you're part of the body politic, you have no right to challenge anything. You're a dead slave on the plantation under the 14th Amendment citizen slave status for USA, Inc. Canada is whatever the parallel is up there. Folks, that's what they think. You've given over because you don't know who you are, so Daddy's going to tell you how to put out the dictates. And I covered this on the birth certificate bond. We're all friggin' bastard children. Our moms gave us over as the informant. I showed it on my document. They separate the father and the mother with double lines on the document, where Daddy's just standing around as an innocent bystander, not realizing he just gave over his child to the thing called the state so they could create a thing called an estate. Isn't that special? Mm-hmm. It's all, if you start looking at the words, folks, it all ties in. It's nothing but a probating the estate. Why they put you on probation? It's basically an estate grab, folks. They're stealing your beneficial interest. And, I was talking with somebody today for a minute about Libya. When they went and bombed them, this guy was actually doing really good things for his own people, they would actually get a stipend for all the oil revenues generated in that country. Folks, where's our stipend check in Canada, UK, Australia? They built all these roads. They built all the highways off the equitable interest off the beneficiaries of the estates, which is you. And when did you get your when did you get your check, folks? Did you get your check yet? No, you're not going to never see it because they didn't think you wanted it because you registered with them and gave it over. But no, they don't teach this in school, folks. They don't teach think outside the box. It's a pledge. They pledge the child at birth. You pledge yourself when you join the military. I did 10 years in, folks. Anyways, when you start really uncovering this nasty-ass onion, it's rotten to the very core, and the clowns at the circus are running the whole friggin' kabuki theater. So, you know what? We're going to have some fun, folks, because I'm going to take you to a different side of the paradigm shift so we can all get it right. And that's where I live. I mean, folks, I'm telling you, if you haven't clicked on and gone to privatist.me, I got a plethora of outstanding educational information, especially on the medical side of the house, folks, because I actually cover stuff of substance. Crap Big Pharma's not going to talk about, big FDA, because they can't make no money on it. Like the fact that my brother Greg's sister is actually getting well, because I said, hey, Greg, they sent her home to die with lung cancer. I said a nebulizer with a little sodium bicarbonate, proper mix with a little Celtic salt, and I guarantee you it'll make, when she breathes that in, it goes direct in, it creates an oxygen-rich environment which nothing can live in. And guess what, folks? She's actually getting better, even though they sent her home to die. So you know what? It's a beautiful thing when you actually start educating yourself and looking past the pale and quit letting somebody else tell you what to freaking think. This is where we live, folks. If we don't shake the crap out of our minds and if we keep buying what somebody else tells us, see, that's called hearsay, folks, and that's where I don't live. And that's why I bring everybody proofs. When I talk about things, if I can't show you something of substance to verify and clarify, I've covered this multiple times, to help you get your mind right, to give you clarity to the facts at hand, it's just stinking hearsay. So everything they're telling you is hearsay. They just go off willy-nilly with an arbitrary statement, and you're actually buying it. And when they tell the lie long enough, the lie becomes the truth, and then you keep moving in the same false paradigm. And, folks, that's how propaganda works. Anyways, I get excited, John. I forgot to take my medication today.
No, you're right, man. You know what I mean? We got to wake up out of this and realize who we are because, hey, I'm living proof. They're still doing what they're doing, but, there's a lot more respect now. I can feel the respect with the sheriffs and stuff like that when I walk into a courtroom now, and they know I know who I am, and you can see the eyes lower and all this kind of stuff. Whereas before you walk into a courtroom,
you're not a freaking slave on the plantation. You're
exactly,
not
right?
You're not being adversarial, dude. You're just being the man.
Exactly.
Anyways,
you can see it. You can see the power that you wield. You truly can when you act in honor and act as the living beneficiary of what you are. You have all the power.
Yeah, somebody posted you might just want to go check the. Yeah, somebody posted you might just want to go check the dockets daily if it's close enough for you to go check. I don't know, but I know you do live on a farm, so it's probably a little hump. It's pretty sad that folks that this is what you might have to go just to keep from getting tricked by the Tricks is from Kids gang, because this is all they know. There's no honor in the public. These are dead entities. These are fiction, authority, thinking somebody, hey, folks, look at the word government, and if you take the G off, then you go the next four letters says over, and then take the N out, and it says men, over men. Take the T off the end, it's over men. That's what government dictates are, folks. It's other men over other men, and it's not supposed to have been this way. Anyways, but, folks, and just like John was talking about, I posted this week. We got the on the prison system, folks. I've been saying for the last year, they have been creating a hypothecation event, and hypothecation basically, folks, is where they get funding. They're doing bonding. They're using the salvage bond off of you. They're using all these other bonds. They create them in the back room. I don't care if it's a traffic citation, whatever. It yields them tons of piles of money. Matter of fact, Rod Class did a beautiful call about 6 months ago. I listened to it. He had the documentation proof, how much was in the accounts. He got his cuss-up numbers and was able to track the actual funding. Every case has got piles of money attached to it, and you're just a hypothecation event. So, folks, From where I live, they call that conflict of interest. If I'm just a hypothecation event, then they have a vested interest in hypothecating on my bonds, on my estate, probating the estate, and it's all about the trust. So, folks, that's why we're going to be doing stuff like this on the curriculum, and we've been doing stuff on the curriculum. I already started at the beginning 3 weeks ago, folks. You might have to do a little catch-up, but all the audios, all the documents, PDFs of my birth certificate bonds, stuff like that. If you want to see a real birth certificate bond, folks, it says Midwest Bank Note Company on it. It's got beautiful borders on it. It's got the red digits on it showing the bond numbers. Go take a look over at my site. It's free under the curriculum, the 8-week curriculum. You just got to sign up for the site and go click on that icon. It's on the home page. So, folks, I'm trying to share the love. I'm trying to get you educated. I'm trying to pull the curtain back so you have proof.
That's one thing that we did notice that seemed to really change things. When we brought our birth certificates in for all the court to see, every time we brought it up, it was just like he didn't just say that. Just ignore him. They did not want anything to do with that bond. They didn't want the bailiff to take it. They didn't want the judge to take it. They didn't want to acknowledge that I even had it in my hand and was trying to give it towards the court. You know what I mean? That was a couple of the times where things just went silent again. And as I asked the bailiff to take these papers and give them to the judge and would not move. So how's that for a dishonor?
Yeah, it's getting ugly, folks. Matter of fact, I just want to cover a little bit of something on this debt issue, folks. And this is where, for the last couple of weeks I've been talking a little bit about third-party debt collectors. Folks, this is how ugly it's really getting. So I want to give some clarity to what's really going down, because it is all about the money. It's all about hypothecation, stealing your substance, dragging your butt into a game. However, Brother Peter has gone into the breach before. Brother Peter has educated himself to find out how to basically defend my castle without going to war, but effectively neutralizing liars, crooks, and thieves, because that's all they are. When you really know it, folks, they leave you alone if you can properly remove the presumption. And this is where I live. So Michael and I dug in deep over the last couple of weeks, because I trained people in third-party debt termination processes, because I practiced on me first, folks, back about when I lost my cable company about 8 years ago. I lost everything, just bad market, no contracts. I was chasing my tail, went 80,000 in the hole, and then the pain started. That's when the clowns of the circus, once the originator didn't get paid, but he did get paid, and I'll explain that in a second. I had multiple lines of credit. I had excellent credit, because I was running a cable company. I had 10 guys working for me. But when it went dry, I lost everything, and I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, no pun intended. And so I was living off the credit to keep this event going before the crash finally happened, but it did happen. It wasn't because of mismanagement, folks. It wasn't because I did something wrong. It's because I couldn't do an impossibility. So that's what happens when you go into a free fall financially. It can happen to anybody, and it happens to all of us. And it's just a matter of time before it happens to the rest. And, folks, that's all right, because you know what? We have capacity. We have ability to put third-party debt collectors so far in the freaking box, it's not even funny. Michael and I have dug in deep. I practiced on me first, so I knew administratively how to move forward on a different level. So I created an administrative package, which just went out today, by the way, to multiple folks who will be sitting at my ringside buffet table over at privatist.me come Thursday night from 7 to 8. We'll probably run to 9, because I'm going to cover the documents, how to use them, what they mean. Folks, I made it so simple that even a caveman could do it. See, because this is where I live. Simplicity. I like to keep things simple. Folks, but let me explain to you. When the original creditor got defaulted on, he got paid in full. Matter of fact, he got paid when you signed the credit app. He got paid in the hypothecation of the capacity of that credit line as you were using it. And then when you defaulted, he got paid again on an insurance policy and made a pile of money. And then he farms it out to a third-party bottom-feeding scumbag who has to trick you and make you assume that he's tied into the original debt, but he's not in any way, shape, or form. Well, folks, because of my research into the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and multiple other venues, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, I started doing my homework because I didn't like the pain. I didn't like them calling my house, beating my brakes off, and then I got my mind right, and I started educating myself, and then I started firing off these debt verification letters and multiple other things, which works extremely effectively. Nobody breached my castle thereafter because, folks, once you do this one act, you basically stop the clock. They can't move forward. Well, folks, after educating myself and moving forward, the beauty of this is you really want to put all the nails in the windows, all the nails in the doors, and you're going to shut the whole damn thing down because you're going to give them a notice of fault and a notice of default, and the game is truly over. You're no longer low-lying fruit. They're not going to be moving forward on you because you just did, like I say, you did it's called like they use in the court system, everything's in threes. Well, this is what we're doing in threes. This is a three-pronged effect. It's effective, it's administrative, and it's really stupid simple because that's why I created it. And Michael, we created this incredible package. I got friends of mine in the industry that I trained who are making six-digit incomes off of what I trained them on, and they don't do half of what I do. They don't know about the red box. They don't know about the four-quarter rules of eights, rules of fours. Brother, I've been educated to a different level, and I'm taking this to a whole different level, and this is really exciting.
So,
folks, if you're getting your brakes beat off and you're sick of getting your brakes beat off, you need to come over to my house because we're having a party. And guess what? You're going to be the beneficiary of my goodwill because this is what I do. I'm an educator. And I'll tell you what, I ain't afraid of no dadgum ghosts. I never had one issue go to court when I was beating the brakes off the clowns. They were too chicken shit, excuse my French, to step into the bow with Peter because Peter, when he puts his document together, they got the freaking memo on a different level. Now I'm fixing to take it one step further administratively to basically shut all the doors and windows with a notice of fault and notice of default, which is red box, by the way, and we get to have some fun. And, folks, I'm talking having some fun. I remember I wrote one document off to a so-called an attorney for a Sears card for $3,500 that I defaulted on. And the letter I sent him was basically said I'll lien him in perpetuity. I had other documents, lien documents. And I never heard a boo out of this clown at the circus. Folks, I love the attorney scumbags who are operating this game because now I get to have some real fun because I go straight to the top. I'm going to knock them out the box, see, because this is where I live, and I'm going to reduce them to the capacity they are. Nothing but bottom-feeding swill, and they're going to have to go find some other low-lying fruit off the fruit tree because as sure as hell is going to be you once you come through my door because I want you educated to stand in the breach on your own, but it's not really by yourself, folks. You got Brother Peter here beating the brakes off, and I know stuff that nobody else knows. I know about misprision of a felony. And matter of fact, folks, for those who don't believe it, I had them knee-deep in my pocket on a student loan, and my buddies at my work said, oh, you'll never get your money back. That's a student loan. I said, yeah, watch. And, folks, within 3 weeks later, I got my money back from the student loan, and I got it posted over on my site on the homepage at privatist.me. So guess what? You get to go see my documents, my proofs, because, like I say, don't believe a damn thing I say unless I can give you proofs. So otherwise, it's hearsay. So I'm going to remove the hearsay for all those who don't believe what I'm saying because, brother, I'm sharing the love. Because you know what? I want to put these scumbags out of business because that's all they are, is bottom feeders. You don't owe nothing, folks. The original creditor got paid in full off the insurance contract. That's why I red box my documents under the rules of fours and rules of eights because that's within their insurance laws. And my contract, my counteroffer now becomes non-negotiable. What I'm asking for, let's put it this way, folks. They know it's done. Not only that, I bring the UPU, which is the United Postal Union treaties, which we all fall under in all Australia, UK, Canada, and USA Inc. So guess what, folks? I apply that to all the documents. I'm working on Canada now. So, folks, my Canadian brothers, hang tight. Within the week, I'll be done with y'all's documents. Folks, I'm telling you, this is the stuff that upends them. When they see the red box documents, they're going to get nervous, and they're just going to say, leave this one alone, because that's what they did with me. I didn't even know about the red box back 8 years ago, folks. I had to learn everything I had to learn. It took me about 1.5 years to dig in, but once I knew what I knew, I was afraid of no ghosts. But, hey, you want to go see some proofs on how I got my money back on a student loan from a third-party scum-sucking bottom feeder? Go take a look at the documents. I got them posted over there, my proofs. It's got the check and everything. It says student loan refund. I like to have fun, folks. I mean, this is fun, dealing with third-party clowns. But, folks, what's happening now is they're actually throwing people in jail for third-party debt. Well, and that's the insanity of it, because to even broach it in the court has no even capacity to hear it. But the problem is all my brothers and sisters have fallen asleep. They're not paying attention to what's really going on behind closed doors, and so they become a party by presumption. What I mean by that is because you fail to respond to the presentments brought forward to you by the third-party bottom feeder, you have not removed the presumption. So guess what, folks? I'm going to show you how to remove the presumption. I've already created the package. It's administrative. It's simple, stupid. And matter of fact, I'm going to have an MP3 taping of exactly what to do and how to do it. So guess what? You're going to have Peter holds in your hand, and thank God I get to put it on tape, so I don't have to bellow on about it friggin' over and over and over again. I get to get it done once. What do you think about that, John?
I love it, Pete. I love it. And, I've gotten a few of your documents over the past few months, and, beautiful, organized, and very easy to follow. Very easy to follow. So, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, that's,
and we know you love to bellow it out. Come on, Pete.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm the shy, quiet type. Hey, come on. I got nothing but tact and diplomacy. I've been told I'm nothing but tact and diplomacy. Yeah, right. Matter of fact, I've never been accused of having any tact and diplomacy last I knew. But I do like sharing the love, brother. But, folks, let me share this little tidbit with you. Folks, you don't have to be afraid of no ghosts if you can know how to stand in the breach like what Brother John's bringing. And this is what I'm sharing, but I want to read this to you just for a second. This is a lady who's dying of breast cancer, a survivor, Lisa Lindsay. She ended up behind bars because she didn't pay a so-called medical bill. She was a teaching assistant and was told that she didn't owe it. But even though they said she didn't owe it, she got the medical bill in error, and she was told that she didn't have to pay it. Well, the bill was turned over to a collection agency, and eventually state troopers showed up at her home and took her to jail in handcuffs. Folks, now this is tyranny. This is chicanery. But I guarantee you, Lisa, she didn't even know that she should have removed the presumption because she didn't really have to because they said she didn't know it. But anyways, here's another gentleman, folks, and I had this with an old vehicle. I had a outstanding debt. I went overseas, and I come back, and my sister-in-law was supposed to be making payments on my pickup truck, and she failed to make the payments, and I come back a week later. I was stepping out in Houston into my parking lot, and my car was gone. Well, anyways, they come at me. They farmed it out to a third-party debt collector. They never come after me. I knew it was a scam. I knew they already got paid. But this is a gentleman. This is in 2009. Jeffrey Stearns, a concrete company owner, answered a knock at his door from a Hancock County, Indiana deputy sheriff. And the deputy was holding a warrant to arrest Mr. Stearns for not paying $4,000 owed to a unit of American International Group, AIG, on a loan for his pickup truck. After being handcuffed in front of his 4 children, Mr. Stearns spent 2 nights in jail where he said he was strip searched, sprayed for lice. Court records show he was released after agreeing to pay $1,500 to a loan company. And anyways, he said he didn't even know he's being sued, folks. This is what I'm trying to tell you, folks. It's getting ugly out there, and they're doing underhanded crap. So guess what? If you have anything hanging over your head, you got to get it gone, folks. I'm telling you, because Brother Peter, what he did was he fell asleep at the wheel on the so-called student loan debt because I knew about all the other. I pretty much terminated the other $80,000, but I forgot and I let one get away. 3 years later, it found me. It came through my back door, through my employer, and my employer gave over sums to this third-party scumbag. Matter of fact, that document's posted on the site for everybody to see. It's called a withholding order, folks. I got to type the son of a bitch up on my own typewriter. I mean, it had no power behind it, but because my employer's an idiot, because this third-party scumbag thought it had a contract with me, it filed this withholding order. It didn't have the social on it, didn't have a signature on it, didn't have crap on it, folks. So that got me very angry. So I said, okay, I got to go in deep. I said, this one got through. I didn't even know that, I thought it was, I ignored it, folks. This is what happened. I ignored it. So the beast came back through my door 3 years later. And, folks, and it can and it will happen to you because the system is so broke. They're looking for hypothecation events. And the last thing I want to see is my brothers and sisters go to jail for a third-party scum-sucking, bottom-feeding lie because they didn't know how to defend their castle and remove the presumption. Well, folks, that'll never happen if you come through my door, I promise. Because, folks, what I'm bringing, I'm the gate beater, and I'm the gatekeeper. So we can have some fun, because I like to have fun with clowns at the circus. Because, folks, those become exhibits A, B, and C. If they want to take it further, they're dead before they start, because a default order is a default. So what we're doing is using the same game they've been using on us our entire lives, but we didn't know we needed to use it. We didn't know we had to reverse this presumption. Well, now I'm telling you straight up, you better remove the presumptions, because if you fail to do so, they're going to come into your bank account. They're going to backdoor you somehow, some way. If you've got some vulture food on the plate for the vultures to eat, they're going to get it. And it's just like when I was dealing with IRS issues. Folks, I beat the brakes off them clowns for 13 years with no problem whatsoever because I knew who I was dealing with. And they're nothing but a third-party private corporation as well. I've got their articles of incorporation. I got the matter of fact, it's posted over on my site in my education page under documents under IRS. I actually have their articles of incorporation, 1933, in Delaware. They're a privately held corporation, for profit. They're not a government agency. They're just a bunch of scumbags who pretend to be a government agency. Hey, the beautiful part of waking up is when you take those rose-colored glasses off, you really start getting the truth, and you start internalizing, and you start knowing, because I know y'all listening on the call know something's amiss. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you the exponential learning curve. Come over to my house. Everybody's got to come over to Private. It's not me. Go get those documents. Get your education. Folks, it's you can do it the easy way or you can do it the hard way. Education is the easy way. Education is the power. And it's not a lot of heavy lifting, folks. I carry a lot of the water. When Michael and I stepped in and decided to do this administrative process, I said, you know what, Michael? We need to create something, follow the bouncing ball, easy, because hey, folks, we're going to have successes all over the place. All of them got the package. There's not going to be one of them having to deal with a third-party bottom feeder after they get done with this little process that I put together, because I already know what I know. Folks, I can prove what I know. That's the point. So when you operate in a position of strength and knowledge, you remove the fear, because, folks, the only thing that's going to paralyze you is what's stuck between your ears. And when I found out the real truth, I was nothing but pissed off. And pissed off is actually pretty good. But I diverted that energy through education, and I started digging in and saying, okay, knowledge is power. I can read really good. I'm literate, and I can get concepts. So I stepped in, and I started doing some heavy lifting for myself. It took me about a year and a half to dig in to get my mind right, and when I did, I had nobody wanting to come through my front door. Matter of fact, they don't call my house, folks. After I got schooled, any third-party debt collector that wanted to call my house and I answered, it wasn't a good day for them because I really have fun. I ask them certain things, like, and tell me to go get their boss, their line manager. I want names. I want dates. Hey, and by the way, it's all being taped, folks. And, folks, I'll tell you, when they think they're being taped, they just hang up on your ass and you never hear from them again. They just, because you're not a lay-down and they know that you friggin' uncovered their lie. Then, folks, that's what it's all about, uncovering the proverbial lie. And when you do, you're in a position of strength. Now, the next step is to know how to operate and remove the presumptions of the lie where there's no weight to whatever they put forward. So, but until you take an action, and an action is an action word, folks, you got to do something for yourself. I've done the heavy lifting. I created an administrative process and you know what? You cannot do it, but I tell you what, if you're standing fast and you got third-party crap that you're ignoring, I promise you, it's going to come out and bite you in the butt in some way, shape, or form, and it never has to. So I created an administrative process and a package for everyone to be able to use to put the babies to bed. It's really, really simple. So this is where I live. So, folks, when you don't do anything, you just leave yourself wide open for the vultures to come eat off your plate. And I've already heard a couple horror stories this past week. And, folks, you don't wait till they're knee-deep in your pocket like I did. Well, I was still operating in a position of knowledge and power because I understood how to apply a misprision of a felony to a clown at the circus. So I administrated that document to the State Attorney General's office, Department of Justice, and within 2 weeks I put this baby to bed and I got a check. You need to go take a look at the check. It's posted on the site under the icon, the 8-week curriculum. I'm telling you, folks, I'm going to show you crap. I'm going to show you proof. I'm going to show you stuff that's valid, provable, and you know what? And when you get your mind right, and you have nothing to fear. So if you come to my house, I'm going to teach you how to stand on your own 2 feet, how to stand in the breach without having to have to kowtow to any clowns at the circus. But this third-party debt thing is one huge money-making hypothecation event. So, folks, they already got paid. They're not getting paid no more. Once you know they've already been paid, that scumbag that's attaching to and acting like he's operating in the capacity of the original creditor because he's got his logo at the top of the damn document. Just read the bottom of the document. It tells you we're here trying to claim a debt. that tells you it's a third-party debt collector. I mean, these are the little nuances, folks, that show you it's just the tricks is for kids. They got to trick you to contract. Well, guess what? You're never going to get tricked to contract ever again, I promise you. And you can have fun doing it. And so, folks, this is where I live. Remember I said this is going to be the year of change. This is going to be the paradigm shift. I want the whole freaking world to get their minds right and come on over and play ball at my place, because we're going to have a bundle of fun, because we're going to put these babies to bed, because I want third-party scumbags to go actually find jobs of substance, not friggin' raping off the masses under a lie, the guise of a lie through trickery. So that's where I live. Anyways, what do you think about that, John?
Well, yeah, excellent points, Pete. You know what I mean? People really got to get on the site. If they're listening today for the first time or wondering, because we're so used to so many scams and people trying to sell the next $1 million cure and stuff like that, and we don't trust anything. Yep. Well, I'm a kind of guy who knows how to go through information. I've gone through, years and years and years of disinformation, and I know truth when I see it. And your site, absolutely amazing. People get on there and read in the education site there, and educate yourself, and I'm telling you, you're going to be an expert, and you're going to be more versed than most of these judges and lawyers out there that have no idea of true law. So, definitely want to get over there and definitely, start learning, because, if you're looking for something that's really going to lead you on the proper path so that you will have power and you know how to stand in honor and all that kind of stuff, you definitely want to go there. There's so much information, and that's just, for your freedom, not let alone, about the body and all the cures that way and stuff like that. And these are true cures. I knew about these cures before I'd met with Pete and stuff like that, after going through, pages upon weeks and weeks and months of searching, and I did not come from a place of where I was sick or anything else. I'm a person, just likes to stay healthy and stuff like this. And I came across seems the same things you came across, with the salt, the sodium bicarbonate, exactly. The
magnesium chloride, food grade hydrogen peroxide, folks.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, I got free PDFs for everybody's. It's free, folks. The PDFs on the cancer issues, 1 Minute Cure. These books are free on my site. See, you know what? Because I want to share the love, because I don't want nobody dying for a proverbial lie. So let's pull the freaking curtain back, and when you get the truth, folks, you can never be duped and put in la-la land. We're affecting a massive shift in change in the mind. So, yeah, just on the medical side of the house on what I talk about, folks, yeah, I was a Navy doc. I was a doctor, but I did everything a doctor did. I worked pharmacology, EKGs, pulmonary functions, radiology, emergency medicine, field medicine, internal medicine, cancer wards. So, folks, the Navy really schools you, and they shift you through all these different educational portals while they're in it. I think the Navy's got some of the best educational portals as far as on the medical side of the house. However, they're still stuck with big pharma, because that's the modalities they treat and teach. And yes, I even gave shots, folks, because I didn't know what I know now. But anyways, we cover the shot stuff, folks. If you're getting your flu shot, you need to not get the flu shot, because it's got thimerosal and mercury in it when it compromises the proverbial immune system. Folks, I haven't had a flu shot in 30 years, and I haven't had the flu in 30 years. Gee, how does that work? John, I don't think... they're selling you swill, folks. You're just a hypothecation mark. They got them standing up in Walmart and all these other dadgum stores putting on their swill.
Exactly.
Yeah, folks, that should be the indicator. And, folks, you never want to get a shot in a Walmart store or any other store, because, you know what? That idiot who's giving you the shot, guarantee he doesn't know anything about anaphylactic shock, doesn't probably know crap about, well, he might know CPR, but, folks, you're going to the boneyard. If you go into anaphylactic shock... Well, I don't know about you, Pete, but if, it's one thing to get a shot from your doctor, and knowing what we know, but I don't know if I'd go into a store and someone comes up to me with a needle that I don't know what's in it and they want to give me a shot, if I'm going to let them give me a shot. You know what I mean? I don't understand this mentality whatsoever, And half of them don't even know what aspiration is. They stick the needle in. If they they plug the syringe down without pulling on it first to make sure they didn't get a vein, it goes directly in the vein. That's why it's called, you have to aspirate the needle. So, I had technique, I had the concepts, but I did it under the auspices in a medical surrounding with a cut-down tray, epi needle, and I was ready to rock and roll, because I had 3 other doctors on staff so we could take care of the event and bring the person back. Folks, if you're at a Walmart, they bring you back. You just go into the damn boneyard. If you go to anaphylactic shock because some idiot doesn't know how to give the shot proper. But even besides that, it's the crap that's in the damn shot, folks. It's thimerosal and mercury. These are poisons to the body. They're agents that actually cause deleterious effects of the body and compromise the immune system. Why would I know this? Because I actually researched it. Matter of fact, I did a call with Dr. Carly a couple of months ago, who did a beautiful, that video, by the way, is on our videos page. Everybody can go watch it. And it's called Vaccines, Weapons of Mass Destruction. This was a physician dead in the middle of the medical community, and she uncovered all the stuff as she started educating herself and finding, and she started following the money trail too. So, folks, it is. When you start following the money trail, then you get proof. Now they want to give Gardasil to little boys for so-called venereal warts because they couldn't make enough money off the girls on that sham, brothers and sisters. They want to give them now to your sons under the guise of protecting them against venereal warts. Folks, if you got to put a friggin' negative antibody in the body, it's not a good idea. It never is because it's always going to compromise the immune system. Anyways, that's the crock they sell, folks. They make up more diseases every damn day. They got anti-government phobia, and they like to put you in the friggin' crazy room for 6 months for talking about anything government.
Yeah.
You got to love it.
And let's plug novaccine.com again there, Pete. Like I say, that site's absolutely amazing. Has every company that makes the vaccines, what every ingredient is, what every ingredient does to the human body.
Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful
site. Beautiful, excellent site. So make sure, folks, you want to check out
novaccine.com, right?
Novaccine.com, yeah. It's up, it's live. I'm on it right now.
Cool.
And
folks,
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, folks, if you're looking for truth, this is where we live. This is you're in the portal. Like I say, for the hypothecation event, what's going down, folks. Like I say, if you're dealing with a third party, pretty much everybody I know is getting their brakes beat off by third party medical crap. Well, folks, when you come over to my house, I'm going to teach you how to defend your castle in a whole different way, where you'll never get your brakes beat off. You'll actually be able to beat the brakes off and put the shoe on the other foot. It'll never see the inside of a court. Matter of fact, I'm dealing with a couple people that got issues they don't have a posted date, and I said, well, as long as you do the 3 documents before you get to the finish line, that scum-sucking bottom-feeding third-party debt collector attorney is going to be eating a big poop sandwich on the other side. You know why, folks? Because you did the 3 proper steps, you noticed them, and you asked. They didn't tell. You did a notice of fault, you gave them a notice to cure, notice of fault, and then you go to notice of default, and their game is proverbial done. It's over. They have no wiggle room because you're asking, they're not telling, and you wanted to settle, and they denied settling. It's a friggin' scam, folks. That's all it is. So, folks, you'll never be duped by the scam if you come to my house. I promise. What do you think about that, Brother John?
Yep, exactly. You got to educate yourself. You got to, really figure out this game. We've been lied to since our birth. You know what I mean? Everything we think is true is a lie. And if you're not questioning everything, you are going to be one of these poor people that have taken advantage of and not knowing who you are. And that's exactly what they want. They don't want you to know who you are. They are so scared of people educating themselves and finding out exactly what they are. So, folks, come on over. Come learn.
The water is fine. Hey, I use these Navy vernaculars, folks. We run in the ground. We go in dry dock. I decommission the ship. It's all good. Peter's a freaking landlubber now. I got off the proverbial Admiralty, stepped into. It's always us damn Navy guys. But hey, what the hell, Hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. Sort of like Walter Burien with
maritime law. What better, a teacher to have than someone who was part of, the maritime, right? So that's what we're all under is maritime vessel law. That's what we need to understand.
Yeah, I'm no longer a seagoing swabby. I've got. Hell, I really wasn't, brother, for the 10 years, anyways. Out of my 10, my first 2 years, folks, you want to have some fun. This is funny. My first 2 years in the Navy, after I got out of boot and after I went through my medical training, they sent me off to this place. I wanted to get to California because I was a Yankee boy, and I wanted to go to good old Cali. So I figured I was going to get Long Beach or San Diego or Northern California or something. So just to make sure I got to California, we have what's called a dream sheet. So I put in my dream sheet, and I put for my last selection anywhere California. Folks, that's just a really bad idea. You know why? Because that's exactly where they sent me, anywhere California. It was called the Mojave Desert, Naval Weapons Center, China Lake. 2 years, and all they had was burros and rattlesnakes. It was a naval weapons center where they tested bombs and crap, and I was working at the medical hospital on the base. So, I mean, I couldn't have dreamed this horror in a million years. That I was in culture shock. And by the way, it may be called Naval Weapons China Lake, and the lake bed is dry, folks. That sucks. No boats.
Yes. No boats.
No boats there, folks. Yeah. I'm telling you, yeah. When friends of mine, when I went home on leave and stuff, oh, you're in the Navy. Where you at? I said, oh, China Lake. Oh, that must be nice. Yeah, I said, a dry lake bed in the Mojave Desert. Man, I was just laughing. What the hell's the Navy doing in the damn desert? I said, that's what I was saying.
Yes, for sure. Jeez.
Anyways, it's funny, folks. You know, life is funny. Things happen for a reason, and I'm really glad that everybody's here tonight. You know, I wasn't feeling too up when I first started tonight. I posted to John. I said, man, I'm pretty tired. He thought I was going to lay up and not come to the call tonight, but I'm really glad I did because I got a fire in my belly. I'm excited because I see my brothers and sisters starting to get the memo. I see the paradigm shift coming on multiple levels. Hey, brothers and sisters, hey, if my privatist.me site's good enough for Santos and Mary Croft, you know what? It's probably good enough for you because they're sitting ringside at my buffet table as well. So, folks, you know, that's your permission slip if you need one to come on over because these are people on the upper crust and they understand what's going on in the world just like I do. And they come over and shared to break bread with Brother Peter at his house. And that's a beautiful thing, folks. So I don't bring falsity. I don't bring superficial crap. I'm going to bring you truth straight up. And every Thursday night, I do these educational calls that are beautiful. I'm going to start back on my medical calls probably in another week or two. But I've already got enough stuff posted over there. Folks, I got a beautiful cancer page, got some beautiful downloadable PDF documents, information, and books. So if you haven't been there, you really need to go there because, folks, it's a joyous occasion, especially when you get your game on, you get your education. And I give away as much as I can for free. The only thing that ain't free is the membership. But hell, if I could give that away, if I didn't have to eat, you know, I'd give that away too. But folks, I still have to eat. Matter of fact, I did a mass blast, and my $300 my $300 package for the debt termination package, folks, is worth every bit of $1,000. But I'm not. I don't want to get it on the sweats of the backs of my brothers and sisters. So, folks, you know what I did? I put out a cattle call this past week. And anybody that upgraded their membership for the whole $120 for the whole year, that's $10 a month, got the third-party debt termination package, which is huge. It's beautiful. And I know my producer can attest to it because I sent over her package for her husband because he's dealing with some bottom feeders as well. So, folks, you know what? This is where I live. If I could give it all away, I would. But you know what? I can't. So, but I gave the package away for the membership because, folks, I want some people having some fun. I want some people terminating scumbags, and I want testimonials over at my site. I want piles of them. So I gave it away. I gave out the baby with the bathwater. It's all good. You know what? Because it always comes back. See, what goes around, folks, comes around. It's all on the wheel. So when you do a solid for others, and especially my brothers and sisters who are hurting, I see the pain everywhere. I'm going to help you remove some of the pain. I will take the thorn out of your paw. Just come on over and play. It's all good. So, you know what, folks? You got to come over and find out the truth. That's all you got to do. And you're going to get it on multiple levels, and your eyes and your mind, and that's why this is called In the Spirit of Things. When you get your mind right, you get your heart right, you get your spirit right, and that's when you affect a positive change, and you become the ripple. You become the ripple in the pond. You get to throw your rock in the water. I guess I must have thrown a dadgum boulder because I'm getting a huge ripple effect, and it's a beautiful thing, though. And, folks, this is what it's about. This is truly in the spirit of things. See, because, folks, we're men having a human experience and women having a human experience. We're all walking upright. We're here for but a flicker. What are we going to do to affect a change in a positive way on our world? Because I sure as hell don't want my kids inheriting the clowns and the circus and breads and circuses game that's been foisted upon us. And you know what? To lay down is not a viable option. It's not going to war, folks. It's educating ourselves and finding the truth and standing fast in our own truth because we'll never be duped. We'll never be hoodwinked. We'll never be screwed again because I don't like commerce in that context. So, folks, I'm opening the door to you. I'm going to share the love. I'm going to bring it to you on a different level like nobody else will, and I'm going to talk about stuff that nobody else will, and it's all simple, folks. It's really, this is not a Pythagoras theorem, complex mathematical equation. This is 2 + 2 really equals 4. It's simple. So on that, John, I'm telling you, it's been a beautiful night.
We got a lot of information out there. I hope we helped some people, to discover who they are and to see that, even in the most adverse conditions and stuff like that, we still have the power.
Yep. So. Yeah, and here's living proof, Brother John being on the show, folks. He has really shared the love. My hat is off to him. I salute him. I will give him the bronze stinking star because, you know what? It takes a pair to stand up and grow a spine, and that's the problem with most of us. We've laid down and we got our spine deinstalled. Well, you know what, folks? I'm doing surgery, and I'm going to reinstall all the spines for those that want them. Folks, and it's not arguing, it's not warring, it's not being adversarial. It's just standing for who the hell you are as a man or a woman having a human experience, upright. Otherwise, you're proverbially dead. You know what? So we were going to remove the chains that bind if you want to come and play at my house. So you are invited, and you know what? Share it with your brothers and sisters because they're invited too. Because, folks, this is where we affect the change. This is where the shift comes down. I said this is going to be a year of change, and it's already happening. So I love y'all, because if I didn't love y'all, I wouldn't be doing this. I do it not for me. I do it for you, and I got a heart for it because this is where I live. And I almost put myself in tears.
You do, Pete. No, you know what I mean? Hey, you were there right from the beginning before, you even knew me, like you do now, and, you were right there by my side, and you're there by my fiance's side, and you've always been, there, with nothing but gratitude and love in your heart, right? So, hey, we're living proof of that. So, to the folks that are listening, stuff like that, you want true freedom. You really want to at least know how to act when you've been breached, how to get out of it, and work your way out of it, not be deceited, not being a debt slave to these people so they can run all over you. You want them to think twice before messing with you and how to proceed with you. Well, learn who you really are. Even like I say, in the face of adversity and stuff like that we're going through and stuff like that, we've taken our core things as victories. We're learning, we're young, but we're learning quickly, and we're having quite an effect, and we can see the fear and the light being shone on the negative and stuff like that. And they don't like it at all. Yet they can't touch us. We don't fear for our life, or we don't fear for any of that stuff. Because we know who we are. We are protected. We are public. So like I say, don't be afraid to stand in the light. It might be hard sometimes, but when you start making those victories, you'll never be proud of yourself.
Right, right. I'll tell you what, brother. When you stand, it is empowering. It really is, folks. Like I say, I've been beating the brakes off for a long time, but I had to get my mind right and get past the warring capacity and just. I know I sound aggressive. That's just I'm just a Type A personality, but I'm really not, folks. I'm a thinker. I think outside the box. I know how to ask the right questions. I know how to do the right things, and it's. My mind works like a machine, and I've effectively, by pouring all this information in, have been able to, through deductive reasoning, separate the wheat from the chaff and find the truth. And when you have the truth, folks, it stands supreme, and you get to stand supreme because knowledge is power, and this is an empowering situation. Like I say, this debt crap, it's nothing, folks. It's literally, this is child's play for me because I've already been through. I've already jumped through the hoop. I've already gone into the fire. And, folks, you're going to come out the other side if you want to find out. If you want to stay asleep, if you want to become a victim, that's your option as well. And you know what? I know my brothers and sisters are smart enough not to continue to become victims. So I can't fix it all. I don't have a magic wand, but I can sure as hell lead you through the mix. And you'll probably be standing at the other side of when we get done. And that's the empowering part. So based on that, folks, we are about done tonight. It's been a beautiful call. I'm going to be going back into the banking and third-party garbage on Saturday. I'm going to see if I can't get an invitee back onto the show who was on last Saturday. and see if she wants to come play ball in Peter's sandbox, because she's a beauty. She's a beautiful woman. Yep, Mary Croft, folks. I'm telling you, she brings the love. And you know what? She's the one who opened my eyes many years ago and got me started. So I call her my teacher, and now I'm trying to teach the teacher. But I brought my books and pencils. I'm paying attention in class. But like I say, folks, go to the privatetest.me site, please. I implore you, because this is where it all starts. This is where your educational portal opens up in a whole different way. Everything I got on there is incredible truths. It's not diversions. It's not garbage. It's not having you jump through all these different hoops and stuff like that. No, I cut through the wheat and the chaff, and that's how I created this site, because I wanted to pull those rose-colored glasses off for everybody effectively, quickly, and efficiently, for those that are willing to wake up. Matter of fact, they were talking last night on last night's talk show saying, yeah, how do we wake up our neighbors and stuff? Well, folks, I told them they need to come over to my site, privatetest.me. Yeah, I'm promoting my site, folks, but I'm the only one who's putting the stuff in it that's meat and potatoes. Everything else I look out at there is just fluff. If they're not bringing the truth straight up where you can get verification and get past hearsay crap, then they're just bringing the fluff. So, you know what? No peanut butter and fluff here, just straight up steak. We're going to have a T-bone, folks. Anyways, yeah, my icons are all over at, they are at Freedom Reigns. If you go right down to the fourth icon from the bottom, privatetest.me, click on it, folks. Go to the icon, step on in. Don't be afraid. Come to my class next Saturday, and we're going to have some fun together. So this is where I live. If you came in through the other door, not on Freedom Reigns, but through Blog Talk, there's a HTTP privatetest.me. Just got to copy and paste, put it into your little browser bar, and it'll get you right over to me. And you just sign up, folks. I'm not asking you for none of your money. I don't want your money. I want your heart. I want your mind. You get to keep your soul. Anyways, I love y'all. Thank you for coming to the show. Theatre, great job tonight. Brother John, I love you too, brother. Hey, stand
love
fast.
Love and gratitude to you, Pete. Love and gratitude to our listeners as well.
Thank you. And with that, folks, you have a great night. We'll catch you on the rebound on Saturday. Bye-bye. Welcome for another edition of In the Spirit of Things, folks, and glad to have you here. It's been a very interesting week, been a very busy week for those, my Canadian brothers and some of my other brothers and sisters who joined up in full membership over at privatetest.me. Welcome aboard, because you're in for a whole new paradigm shift, and I thank you all for coming in. And anyways, folks, Saturday we're going to be going a little bit more further into banking and third-party debt stuff as well. I'm going to cover a little more of that tonight. If you didn't go over to privatetest.me, which we have icons everywhere now, whether you come in the spirit of things direct, if you come in through the front door there, folks, right below in the spirit of things, you'll see HTTP privatetest.me. I'd like everybody to get their books and pencils for the next class. Anyways, we have I posted over there as well for people who are interested in seeing how you get your money back from a third-party debt collector when you know how to move forward. I have posted documents as proofs, so for all the people who say, well, you know, we don't believe anything, and I don't expect you to. That's why I'm the proofs guy. If I can't show you in black and white, like I've been saying all along, you know, I don't want you to believe me. It becomes hearsay. So, anyways, yeah, go over to privatetest.me. You need to sign up anyways, folks, if you're following the curriculum on each Saturday. So you can come, basically it has a icon, or it's not called an icon, but it says http://privatetest.me. You can just copy and paste and put it up into your search bar, and it'll take you straight over to the site, so you can sign up for free and come on in and see all the sights and sounds that we have over there, because we have excellent information on the cover page. It'll give you a little overview, follow the bouncing ball, watch changes on the horizon, some other things. Folks got some really, really good stuff happening as well. We're covering some major ground for our Canadian brothers, our Australian brothers, because, folks, we want to put the third-party debt beast to bed because they really have no valid contract with you, nor do they have any valid debt. They bought it for chump change after they first party, i.e. the originator, already got paid in full on the insurance contract. Anyways, we won't get into that right this minute, but for those who came into the Freedom Reigns door, folks, if you just look at our homepage, and if you go down to, let's say, fourth from the bottom, it says privatist.me. So instead of you having to type it in, you just click on that icon, and it'll take you over to a cover page with another blue icon, and you can click on that one, which says privatist.me, and it'll take you right into the front door. I know a lot of people have had a hard time getting in the front door, so I'm just trying to make it easier by posting, anywhere where it's for ease of access. Because, folks, if you haven't seen the curriculum yet, which is free, and you haven't followed, the birth certificate bond, securitization scam, the birth certificate securitization scam, this is where it all started. And we're posting each week in the curriculum over there on that page. It's right on the cover page once you get in, and it says 8-week curriculum. And it also got my attaching proofs of how to deal with a third-party debt collector, not so much how, but proofs that when you know how to move forward in a different capacity, you can actually get them out of your pocket and actually get them to play nice and give you your money back. Not all the time, but on this, for instance, I was able to get some gravitational pull, for lack of a better term. But anyways, we'll get back into that later, top of the hour. Right now I've got Brother John, who's come back into the fray. And if any of you are familiar with some of the past shows we've been covering with Brother John, he's up in Canada, and the folks up there decided to, take a right on his children and pull him out of his house, and it's been sort of a long path, and it's not been good, but it has been moving forward, have been turning things around, getting proofs. Folks, it's just not really been a very nice situation. And then, folks, this is the auspices of a police state, somebody thinking they died and somebody made them God. The dictates of the master, and this is where we stand. We're in a different capacity. They think somebody died and left them king. I don't think anybody died and left them king as far as I'm concerned. So, folks, that's why we do, in the spirit of things in these talks, is to affect a paradigm shift on all of us, because you're next. If we don't all stand united, then...
Before we went to court, we did this with the Crown prosecutors and in notice of settlement and all this kind of stuff, and basically were ignored. We sent another one in and gave her 10 days to settle the account, to bring forth proper claim, to bring forth bid bond, payment bond, performance bond, and QSIP number. Of course, we were ignored again. So we ended up going to court for basically to put in a plea of guilty or not guilty. So we asked the judge first off when we got into the courtroom. We were left quite to last, as you could be expected, because we had noticed the judge as well of our diplomatic status prior to going to his courtroom. So they were quite aware of who we were when we were getting there. Now, at first, they went through, all the other people in the room, and quite quickly, almost like In-N-Out Walmart, stand up, guilty, not guilty, give them the fine, out they go, guilty, not guilty, and, next and next and next and next. Well, we had at least, I'd say, 10, 15, even though on the list we were second or third to be heard. So when it was our turn, the judge was sitting there, and he basically asked us, are you Jonathan Joseph Little? And my fiancée was beside me. Seems like they're doing everything together with us, side by side, which is kind of convenient for us. So we first asked the judge, before he said anything, if he could hear us. And he responded, yes, he could hear us. So I stated for a fact that we are alive and that the court could hear us. So we proceeded to tell the judge that we were here in peace and honor as the living beneficiaries of the estate being administered, and that it was our wish that the judge, as trustee, that we assign him to settle this account to full closure. We also told the judge that we tried to settle the account with the prosecutor after sending many notices by registered mail, giving her 10 days to bring forth valid claim and to settle the account in full closure. But she ignored both copies, basically. We even tried to talk to her in the morning of the court appearance to settle the account to foreclosure. And, of course, she avoided us and refused and basically, stands in fraud and honor. Now, the judge, he kind of looked at us and he just, started going about his business, and he tried to enter a plea for us. And multiple times we interrupted him and told him we did not consent to a plea. We told him that each time we were here to settle the account in peace and honor as living beneficiaries of the estate and to settle the account to foreclosure. That we have the legal fiction present.
Provided we will fall. And, folks, that's how they operate. That's what they expect. We've been laying dead asleep for a long time, so it's time for a wake-up call. And I'm seeing a beautiful paradigm shift coming about. And, folks, that's why we put together Privatist.me. I know I'm sounding like I'm banging the drum on Privatist.me, but, folks, we have extremely effective educational nucleus that pulls the curtain back for you so you don't have to go looking all over the world to go find stuff. You effectively come through that front door, and we talk about things of substance on every level from big pharma, big energy, education, the system, the courts, the bonds, the chicanery going on behind closed doors, the control mechanisms, shots, you name it. We pretty much cover just about every taboo subject the mainstream media will never touch with a 10-foot pole. Anyways, with that being said, I'm welcoming Brother John back to the fray tonight. And
hey,
Brother
how you
John,
doing, Pete?
How are you doing, sir? It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. We've got a lot of exciting news and a lot of stuff to share and update all the listeners and let them know how we're staying in peace and honor.
Well, let's give a short the short overview for those who are new to the call or haven't been here before, don't know what's going on. Just give a brief synopsis, 5-10 minutes or whatever. Give the overview of how it all came about, and this way we can move forward on that level. And you can take your time, brother.
Okay. Well, as you know, CPS came to our house November 28th and stole and kidnapped our children under false, trumped-up accusations. And we have been now fighting, not fighting, I should say, at peace and honor, but trying to get our heirs back. We've had a few hearings now with judges and stuff like that, and we're learning quite a bit, I guess you could say. It's quite the learning curve. Now, if the listeners have been keeping track and stuff like that, we've already had 2 hearings with judges, and each one seems to be going better and better. Now, I'd like to get you caught up with what's new and what's going on with our last hearing, and get you up to date on that.
Yeah.
Now, we had a hearing for the unsafe storage of the weapon and the couple grams of pot for a hearing at the courthouse. Now, we basically went in, expecting what we were going to get. So we went to the criminal court to settle the account in private. And in our hands, known as Jonathan Joseph William Estate, we had our birth certificates in our hand. Well, this kind of made them get quite flustered. They didn't like this. We also had our notice of status papers from DP, and we asked, the bailiff to hand these to the judge for viewing. Well, no one moved. The bailiffs didn't move, no one moved, and the judge got heated more and more. Everyone stood there stunned, and no one would, like I say, take our documents.
They never had this. It sounds like they never had this happen before.
Exactly, right? So the judge started getting very hot under the collar and yelled at us that we would be settling the account from jail if we didn't calm down. Well, we were quite calm, just quite firm as well. And we weren't going to let him railroad us, being the living beneficiaries. I told the judge that it was fine if he wanted to breach the trust, and if he chose to do so, we would have remedy for those who like to breach the trust. We again told the judge that he was trustee of the estate and that it was our wish and pleasure as living beneficiaries for him to settle the account of foreclosure, set off the public debt, pay all tithes and taxes, and return the estate to honor, set us and our private property free. Well, the judge then yelled out to his sheriffs that we were being charged for 30 days of contempt of court. Right then and there, 30 days contempt of court, okay? And the sheriffs flocked to us, basically. We told them to stand down, that they were dishonoring a court official, and we also said, touch us and you will be charged. I am here in peace and honor. And basically, we were dragged off into jail. Reporters were taking photographs. I told the sheriffs that hijacking and commandeering my vessel was an act of war, punishable by high treason. We told them that they were committing war crimes against a peaceful nation, and that we were universal postmaster diplomats, and that they would be charged. Now, we were placed in separate cells. They took both of us, even though I was the one talking at the time, locked us up. And then, within 2 or 3 minutes, the duty counsel runs down to the jail cell, and he's basically asking if we're willing to accept duty counsel. Well, we stated very clearly that we were not decedents of the court, and that we were there in peace and honor, and that you had dishonored universal postmaster diplomats. And the duty counsel basically went to my fiance's cell as well and got the same response. Now, a few minutes later, a sheriff entered my fiance's cell and basically said, yeah, we're taking you to jail right this moment. And he didn't want to hear any more of this nonsense talk, and that if we were willing to be quiet and go upstairs and get our